Hello, 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 and welcome back to High on History. Welcome to the first Friday night. So.
Wait. This is Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm Liz.
Hi. Definitely hi. Okay, so 2 episodes ago, we were talking about Aqualithic North Africa, and I ended up having to cut my episode short just due to being exhausted timing and yeah. So in that episode 2 weeks ago, I explored the unique clustering of the haplogroups from Tophalot Cave, and I feel like I left a lot of confusion in that video.
We watched it back over. We were that was confusing. So we're going to go back over that a little bit and clarify that. And to do that, Jordan put a whole lot of effort into typing this up, and she's just going to read what she typed so that we don't
get too confused.
Yeah, so that we don't get too off track here this time.
So now, a haplogroups is a group of people who share a common ancestor and a set of genetic markers. Okay. Now, this genetic information is passed on from parent to offspring. It contains different DNA and genetic codes, and it is passed on from mother to both male or female offspring, and only from father to son. Now, women do not necessarily inherit any Y chromosome haplogroups.
Right.
Because that shows up specifically on the male chromosome.
Right.
But we do inherit genetic markers that are passed along from our fathers through our X chromosome.
So the chromosomes from the father that are his mother's chromosome pass also to the female offspring?
Yes, through mitochondrial DNA.
Okay, got it.
So in siblings who share mothers, they will share 50% of their haplogroups matching. Like 50% of their haplogroups will match.
Right.
Because of mitochondrial DNA.
Right, okay.
And that is in all X chromosomes. So that's you passed on to the son from the mother as well.
Right.
So that is in male or female siblings. They will share 50% of haplogroups.
Okay.
And this is genetic markers that are passed, that are just identifying markers from points of origin.
Okay.
Specific ancestors in long ago. Now, depending on fathers for the haplogroups, siblings can vary. Now, if you share a biological father, you can also vary genetic markers. And we end up with these unique genetic variations because of the way cells pass along the genetic sequence of traits.
Okay.
So, like when the sperm cell meets the egg cell, they have different haplogroup markers. They have different genetic markers, and that's what makes us unique.
Right.
That's what makes us...
And a father is not always passing on the same genetic markers to each of his offspring.
Because each cell is different.
Because each cell is different, right?
Yep, each sperm cell and each egg cell are different.
So when they combine, they share different information.
Yes.
Okay.
And the haplogroup only means half. Which is what you pass on half the genetic markers from your mother, half your genetic markers from your father, which make up a whole chromosome.
Okay.
So haplogroup is half a whole chromosome.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So these specific genetic markers that we're talking about, that we talked about in the last episode of Tophalot Cave, which I will repeat here in a little bit about what those markers were, can be found in specific known locations on the chromosome and in the DNA sequence. Chromosomes are made up of the proteins. Like I said, they're half the DNA molecules from your parents that contain and the DNA molecule is the foundation of life, which is, your DNA molecule is your 2 haplogroups coming together to make your chromosomes, and your chromosomes make up your DNA with some extra proteins.
Okay.
And that's a whole biology lesson. But yeah. And then the genes ultimately are just the coding blocks for what make up you.
Got it.
Okay. Now that we're done with that, quick recap of part 1. the haplogroups that we talked about specifically in Tulsa Rock Cave were really unique. There was haplogroups JT, U, H, and V. And JT was a 50,000-year-old ancestor that was found specifically in Italy. And then we also discussed the initial maternal founder of Europe, which is haplogroups U1 through 9. We specifically talked about U6, which is where the hobbits from Southeast Asia hooked up with the next generation Masturians.
Mm-hmm.
And that gene, U6, is specifically known as a back to Africa gene. And that was a gene that was found specifically at Tulsa Rock Cave. And then haplogroup H was a unique one. It's the first time a haplogroup is passed down from both mother and father.
Huh.
Yeah. That one was a cool one that one was the coolest one in my opinion. And it is also found in 40% of modern Western European DNA.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then haplogroup V was an indicating gene marking what is known as the mass migration out of Europe. And that showed up 15,000 years ago.
So those were people who came out of Europe and back into
Africa. Yep.
So we have two distinct back into Africas in that group in Tulsa Rock Cave at least.
Yes, at least two.
Interesting.
Yes. Now, these unique lineages at Tulsa Rock Cave come together 20,000 years ago. And they blend together, creating these are speculations of who they possibly believe might be their descendants. They do believe that they were the grandparents of the Natufians.
Interesting.
Now, there is no proof because there is also speculation that there are no modern living descendants from this culture because they do claim that these people only lived for an era of 10,000 years at Tulsa Rock Cave. They die out and vanish completely 10,000 years ago.
We don't have a direct genetic connection between the Natufians and these people specifically.
Correct. But they do believe, because most of these markers came back in from the Levant, which is where the Natufians are.
Okay, so they think that they might have been tangentially related to the people who were also the Natufians up in the Levant. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, at this cave, we also had the earliest signs of the burial practices. You remember how we were talking about how, like, the bodies were found in position?
Oh, yes.
And, like,
they were, like, carefully laid down with their heads at a specific angle. And
yeah. So, in this episode, I really wanted to kind of get into, like, civilization. And early development of, like, cultural practices. We were talking in your last episode on Tuesday, the last episode of Tuesday nights, about mass tool production.
Yes.
And I told you how I had found evidence of it in the Atarian people. Now, the Atarian people do span all across North Africa, which includes your region of Northeast Africa.
Correct, right.
So, the Atarian people, I've been calling them the people. Every bit of research that I've looked at actually don't refer to them as a people. It's the Atarian industry.
Oh, so it's the type of products that are being made.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
Yeah. So you remember the Acheulean tools dating about 1 million years ago?
Those were the leaf-shaped blades, right? Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Okay. So their grandchildren are the Atarians. Their grandchildren are also probably some of the Neanderthal. Like the Acheulean people lived 1.8 million years ago. Right. So here we are 50,000 years ago with their great-great-grandchildren of the Atarians. That's a lot of time.
That's a
lot of time to evolve.
It's a lot of advancement, yeah.
Yeah. So the Atarians in North Africa have improved the design on their arrowheads, on their spears, and they've even developed a method that we call the Lavoie technique.
Okay. That sounds very French.
That is actually very French. So, even though these tools were developed in Africa, these tools were originally found, these microlithic tools, mind you.
Microlithic tools! Yeah, that's something we were gonna get into soon.
So, yeah, a bunch of microlithic tool fragments were found in the gravel. Just, I don't know why, I haven't got into Europe yet, and I can't wait to explore this part of Europe. But they was found in the gravel of a suburb in Paris, France. The suburb was Levallois-Perret, I believe is how it was pronounced when we looked it up.
Yep.
And so it was discovered in the 1800s by, obviously, a French...
It's Levallois. Levallois-Perret.
Levallois?
Yeah, there you go!
So, anyways, it was discovered in the 1800s in France. And so, which is where it gets its French name. But the credit was also given to the Neanderthals at this time in the 1800s for the early advancement. And the tools were only estimated to be 40,000 years old.
1800s archaeologists were wildly off in their estimation.
Oh yeah. So, this is in your region, my dear.
Indeed.
Yes, Caputhian, I think is how it's pronounced. Caputhian Formation in Kenya. They were found to be
Capthurin.
Capthurin?
Well, for our viewers and our lack of pronunciation, it's spelled Kapthurin. Formation. It's in Kenya. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So the Levallois tools were found. Levallois tools were found, and they were dated to be about 600,000 years old, and they were found in 1920s. I believe 1923 to be exact, but I didn't look too much into that actual area because, again, that was your area and I wanted to respect your research.
Oh, you know what? We gotta do something about that overlap problem. When there's overlap, let there be overlap.
I think that's a good idea. Well, there you go. And so this evidence from Kenya being mass-produced, and even showing signs of mass production in France. I actually had to look up a little bit about it, and according to, like, a lot of evidence, the Neanderthals were doing a lot of this production, too.
Interesting.
Yeah. Recently, the original tools that were dated 40,000 years old are now dated to be about 320,000 years old.
That makes
so much more sense. So we've got the Neanderthals making these tools. We've got the Atarians making these tools at the same regions
and you were
at the same
saying
times.
The Atarian industries. That's really what Atarian is describing. Tools and art, I assume. Is that
art, weapons. I really want to get in.
Like this idea of industrialism.
Absolutely. Sort of. So our people were manufacturing these tools en masse. We weren't only just like manufacturing them, they were precise in what they were doing.
Yeah, we covered that a little bit last week too. The amount of precision. It's really, when I look at this stuff, whether it's the beads or the dyes or the complex adhesives. Oh my god, I found complex adhesives mind-blowing. I truly did.
I'm going to mention that here in a second too about my adhesives.
But it's definitely complex and it requires precision.
So the Atarians were mass-producing these tools. They were also showing signs of not only just trading finished product, but they were also showing signs of trading raw material, or even like half chiseled away at material.
Blanks, like we were talking about. Yeah.
And they also, in this 500,000-year-old, 600,000-year-old tools, they're showing early signs of tanging, which is adding that extra binding point or that point of the hafting point.
Yep.
They gave their arrowheads wingtips. And a wingtip arrowhead is that extra bow in the blade that when it goes in and you pull it out, it causes more of a damage.
Yeah.
Which 500,000 years ago, our ancestors were making this technology. And then
500,000.
Yep, and we're talking about 50,000 years ago. Our people were still doing all of this. So, like, the Arturians have been around for about 500,000 years.
Okay.
Yeah. But
and by 50,000 years, they're super advanced.
Doing
these
this. This is
are
industry by 50,000 years is what I'm getting at.
Okay. All this industry, and I was noticing this last week too. It requires infrastructure.
Oh, absolutely.
Infrastructure requires cohesion. I don't know.
Working together.
Again, we never seem to use the word culture to describe this, but this feels like a culture to me.
In my opinion, it absolutely does define a culture. We're showing trade. We're showing evidence of. And this is where I'm going to actually point out where I think we get a lot of evidence of trade. You mentioned in your video how we had Kenyan obsidian found up in my region.
Yeah, 230 kilometers away.
Now, you were also talking about a really cool adhesive.
Yes.
So, 50,000 years ago, specifically to the northern region of the Arturian people in the Morocco region, we didn't have an adhesive. We weren't making our own adhesive over here.
Okay.
We did end up getting an adhesive that came from a birch sap out of the Mousterians passing it along.
Okay, and the Mousterians got their technique from the Neanderthals.
Yep. The Mousterians are the grandchildren of the Neanderthals who kind of diddled along with the hobbits, which are the Homo florensis.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Mousterians are kind of this unique, newer Homo sapien. They're the grandchildren.
Were they Homo sapiens?
Yes, they're all Homo sapiens. Neanderthals are still technically considered Homo sapien.
Really?
Yes, they're part of the.
I know that weird. I know that they're all human, right? So I found that really surprising. But when we're talking about these, we do use the word human.
Yes. And that's why I say it gets weird. It's hard to explain, and I don't really quite understand the genetics or the science behind it.
Yeah.
And I haven't quite got there yet either, because I'm not experiencing Europe. I'm not experiencing the Neanderthals. Right. But for some reason, our genetics are able to match. And I really think that comes from the fact that, like, a million years ago, before the first ice age, when Homo erectus
left Africa the first time,
they did create Homo florensis and Homo neanderthalis.
Mm-hmm.
And then they evolved, and then they came back together, and then they separated and came back together. It's an ebb and flow.
Yeah, human advancement has worked in that
ebb and flow.
We've talked about that before. How when these tribes, when Aqualithic Africa is Aqualithic, and it's thriving, these people all came together and they brought with them every.
Yeah.
And again, we see like the formation of a sort of cohesive culture from all these separate things because they're trading technology.
Yeah.
They're not just trading the tools and materials either. They're also trading the know-how.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that I don't know, that suggests I just don't know how you have all that and don't call it culture.
Well,
that means that they have the same needs, the same interests, the same values they can communicate.
Absolutely.
you know.
Absolutely. And there's a few really cool sites. Due to certain circumstances, I didn't quite look up the pronunciation for a couple of these sites, so I'm just gonna.
I can always help.
I think it's pronounced Massachusetts Plateau. There they find 75 microlithic artifacts per meter square.
Messick Sedifit.
Yeah, there we go. That sounds accurate. And this is a microlithic quartz tool industry at this plateau.
Microlithic quartz tools?
Yeah, you were talking about...
Oh my goodness, that's so cool!
We've got quartz over here in the West.
Okay, and did those tools also travel outside of that region? Everywhere.
All over. But here specifically at this plateau, we can find 75 artifacts per meter square.
Oh wow, that is just so many.
Now, we're not just talking about, like, the actual, like, tools themselves, but we're talking about, like, the flints. We're finding evidence of the napping. We're finding all of
the cores and
the cores. We're finding all the different processes.
Again, so this workshop sort of level, it's almost industrial. Again, I don't want to use the word assembly line, but kind of like that.
And they're dating this plateau to be 500,000 years old of some of these some of these tools.
Amazing.
Yeah. And then we've got, like, with the Uratabu cave, there's a cattle cult that shows up.
There's a what?
A cattle cult.
A cattle cult.
Okay. That ends up showing up. And at this Uratabu cave, there's ancient evidence of the microlithic tools, massive industry of producing this major, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Evidence of, just, again, mass production. Anyways, and it's all across all of Africa, all of North Africa.
That is amazing.
It's littered with microlithic tool evidence of industry. Everywhere I looked, even the sites that were, like, guarded, were like, you can't go here for this reason, you can't go here for that reason. Mother Nature ate our homework. The stone tool evidence was left behind.
Okay.
And it's every type of stone. Like, they go from
so it's the church and the plant and the...
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It is all of it. And now, in one of your videos, you mentioned Blondo's Cave and all of its amazing pigment.
Yes, that was they kind of call it the workshop cave because that's one of the things they know it was being used for was making dye. Again, I wouldn't say on a mass scale, but it was set up like a workshop, so they were clearly making quantity of it.
Well, the grandchildren of the Blondo's Cave somehow made their way up pigment, trade, migration, whatever, however, from 1 million years ago to our story now. Every single one of these sites that I've talked about, these people have been mass producing pigment in the same way we were just talking about mass production of tools.
Okay. So, tons of ochre dye.
All the colors.
Oh, and all the colors of ochre. They
You've got reds, you've got shades of black, you've got shades of brown and yellow.
Oh my goodness.
This is where you start getting colors.
Oh, so, like, as soon as mankind figured out anything, they're like, we're gonna crayon everything!
Yeah. So now, another really cool thing, you kind of did a spoiler in my last video about some really, really cool shells.
Oh, right! Because I thought that one cave was Topherot Cave was where they mass-produced the shells.
Yes. Now,
but I was wrong.
We're getting on to Bisnown Cave. This is where I fell in love with the Atarian people.
This is where the shells are.
Yes, this is the shells, finally. I've been looking forward to talking about these guys all week. So we've got 33 beads that were found. And they're made out of what is a little critter that is still alive today.
Ooh.
And can be found across all the coastal seaboard of pretty much the whole Mediterranean.
Okay.
They're mud whelks. Or dog snails.
They're called dog snails.
I think that was another common name for them, was dog snail. And these shells were painted with ochre. They were carved out, intricately carved out. And 75% of these beads have evidence of being polished.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it's speculated that a lot of these beads were to express individual identity, communication, even as a sign of possibly marriage, whose tribe you're a part of, I'm connected to this person, or
or it could have just been really cool bling, right?
Right. But the amount of beads that have been found throughout all of these sites as well suggests that there's a stable, continuous material culture in these beads.
Oh, right, because the beads, they show up
At
everywhere.
Every single site I just talked about as well.
And in multiple stages.
In multiple stages.
Like long before and long after kind of the era that we're talking about right now.
Now, what makes Bismone Cave so flippin' cool, these shells are 142,000 years old.
That is, yeah.
So, again,
continuous
mass production for at least 150,000 years for the shell beads now. We've got 600,000 years for tools. At least 150,000 years. There it was. For 150,000 years for self-decoration. And this complex behavior seems to have kind of developed 150,000 years, or 142,000 years ago, well before anywhere else in the continent of Africa.
It developed
at Bismone Cave
first.
Is kind of what they're predicting, or what they're claiming.
Okay.
And it's because of how old these shells were dated.
Right. Because 142,000 years ago is a long time ago.
Yeah. And so, because I had to kind of question why, how, where did they get this date, I had to do a little digging into the difference between carbon-14 dating and uranium-thorium dating.
Oh, right, because carbon-14 dating doesn't work past 60,000 years, and it only works on organic material.
Yep, absolutely.
So if you're looking at non-organic stuff, or you're looking at anything that's probably older than 60,000 years old, carbon-14 dating just won't do the trick.
Absolutely right. So C14 is kind of out the window, especially with the age of 142,000 years.
Oh yeah, totally out the window.
So they decided to use uranium-thorium dating. So this measures the ratio of uranium-234 to the decay of uranium-234, to the growth of 230 thorium. Now, I don't really actually know what thorium is, but I assume it's a radioactive molecule or atom.
So, I kind of got into the idea of thorium power plants for a while. It's a more stable nuclear.
Okay.
Yeah.
I might have to dive down that rabbit hole.
That's its own thing. Yeah.
So the cool thing is, it can date up to 500,000 years old, but it works only for non-organic material for the most part.
Okay, but wait, didn't you say
these are shells?
Those are organic materials, right?
I mean, last I checked.
then how did they use the uranium-thorium dating?
And that's where science gets cool. So they were calcified with carbon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, they've been in a fire, or, like, a volcano had buried them?
I don't know about any evidence of a volcano. Truthfully, I didn't look for the evidence.
Oh, okay.
And for stuff like that, you've got to look for it.
Right, right.
Now, in my research about the Neanderthals, I did find evidence of volcanoes.
Right.
So, I'm not going to throw the volcano day out the window.
Right.
But they don't really have an understanding of how they were calcified.
Or carbonized.
Carbonized. But somehow they were. And so the uranium-thorium dating was able to date them back to about 142,000 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah. And so...
So that's like the roots, that's like the beginning, because those beads, I mean, not those in particular, but beads like that spread, out of, this is North Central Africa?
Base Mountain Cave is in Morocco.
Oh, that's North Africa, okay.
But she's on, like, it's the Atlantic Ocean, right? After you pass the Strait of Gibraltar? Okay. She's, like, southern Morocco on this Atlantic coast.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so,
and then
like...
Rock Cave is in the Mediterranean coast. Sorry, I had to remember the map.
So, basically, as far as we know, this type of shell beadwork and making these beautiful shells happened at least here this long ago, and was probably happening in various places throughout the region.
And
then spread across the entire continent.
Traded. Yeah, being traded, spread throughout the entire continent. They showed up at the grave sites of Topher Cave. They showed up with the cattle cult of Ulan Tabu. They'll show up again at the Tumuli tombs in Niger.
Nice.
Where we'll also end up discussing ritualized feasting practices dating back to about 7,000 years ago.
Cool.
Yeah, they're some of the first signs.
Oh man, I can't wait to get into the foodie part of.
Yeah. And then
food is fun. Food is fun.
Yeah. And then next time I host High on History, I'm going to be talking about Central West Africa. Of course, I'll weave in the story of genetics. Most of this region is the Arcturian people, and most of this region, mother flippin' nature, ate my homework. But I got the answer to why she ate it all.
Oh, I mean, it wasn't just hippopotamus and crocodiles?
I mean, I do have a story about how a crocodile ate a human, but, no. I do actually, I had to ask why I couldn't find diddly squat in West Africa and, like, the central region of my area.
I am also running that in Central.
So, I do have the answer to that. We're also going to discuss the first pottery industry.
Yeah. What's the answer?
Oh, I'm not spoiling.
What?
I mean, I might spoil when the camera goes off, but yeah. No, I do have the answer. But yeah, then we'll talk about Mali and the first pottery industry.
I am so excited about that. I've been waiting to get to that, yeah.
And then, Liz, do you have anything to say about your episode next week on Friday?
Well, I don't want to speculate, as I guess I want to discuss some of the speculation. I don't want to spend too much time speculating on it, but I'd like to talk about the Ishinga bone. Ooh. And then, actually what I'd be really interested to see is if I can find more evidence about the site that it was found at. Because as I understand it, that site was specifically inhabited by, it was a small fishing community, and it was wiped out completely when a volcano went off. So
Isn't that the same region with the harpoon that we were talking about in your last episode?
Yeah, I believe that those may have. I have to look it up again, but they may be the barbed.
Well, that's my
barbed
question.
bone.
I would like to answer
Right.
if you can carry
They
answer
may
that.
be part of the barbed boned people. I don't know yet, but we will find out. And I also am going to be exploring Central Africa a little bit more in this upcoming episode. But, similar problems. The jungle, not only are there environmental problems in a jungle, but they are physically hard to explore.
Oh, dude, yeah.
They are very, very dangerous places. You can't, we live here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. Our forests are gentle and lovely, but that is a harsh environment to try to get through.
We don't have to walk across a baboon or a lion,
right?
Like, to try to get to some of our Paleolithic sites.
So. Yeah, I am excited to give that a shot. We'll see how well that goes next week. Yeah.
Well, then, if you like what we're doing here, please hit that like button. It really lets us know that you like what we're doing here. And please share us with your friends so they can deep dive into this amazing history with us.
This awesome journey.
This has been
fun.
And please, by subscribing, you help us reach our New Year's resolution goal of just simply 100 subscribers. And we're
by
already
December 2025.
Yep.
The end of December.
Yep, New Year's. And here we are only in January, and we're at 27, so we're just over a quarter of the way. And so, yeah, thank you guys. Thank you. We got this. Please subscribe, like, and we got this because of viewers like you.
Oh, and welcome to Friday nights. If you do have any comments, and we are going to try to be better about this, we're newbies, so sorry about that. But if you do have any comments or questions, please post them in the comments below. We will try to start shouting out comments and stuff like that, shouting you guys out for supporting us. And if you have any history questions, we'd love to start taking some time to answer some of those.
Yeah.
So, we will deep dive some of this stuff together, perhaps additionally to our regular episodes at some point.
Yeah.
So, thank you again so much for being here, for helping us get us closer to our goals and closer to making this our day job. And so, live long and prosper.
Bye.